All right, so it's top of the morning, and of course, it's coffee time. I like this mug. It's very Tacoma-ish, but it's not what this video is about. This video is about a guy sent me a question, and he says that he was in a relationship with this girl for about a year. This is an Ask HershNoeie. He was in this relationship with this girl about a year. And he mentioned that in her prior relationship, she was with a guy that she was with for several years. And he wasn't that great of a guy. He literally lied to her on many different occasions. He had cheated on her, that type of thing. Gotten arrested a few times. And still, she stayed with the guy. She, took him back after he cheated and everything like that. And finally broke it off with him, but it was literally a couple of years after he had cheated and did all this other stuff to her. Took money from her and everything. He says, I never did any of those things. She broke up with me because, or actually, he doesn't say that she breaks up with him, but she basically breaks up with him because he was going to college and didn't have a whole lot of spare time. And so he feels like that is the main reason why she broke up with him. He said there was, other minor issues. He doesn't go into detail. He said, in my opinion, do you think that women respect and appreciate the bad boy more than the good guy? Because it seems like the bad always wins, and the good guys have to pick up the pieces or deal with the repercussions. It's a good question. I agree with you on many, many different levels, but I always draw a line and say not all, right? Not all women will fit into that category, but I think there are many women who do, for some reason, appreciate the bad boy. Now, they may say they don't, but there's a part of them, for some reason, for some women, that they are attracted or drawn to a guy that's a bad boy. Maybe it's the challenge of possibly being able to change that person. Maybe they like the excitement. But I can tell you from firsthand knowledge, because I consider myself a pretty good guy. I can tell you from firsthand knowledge of the different people that I've dated, and everything else, that by and large, many of the people I dated appreciated and respected a bad guy more so than a good guy. I mean, it just, when you look at past history and stories of what these guys were able to get away with, and you're not even allowed much of any room to mess up. Like, the margin of error for a good guy is very tiny. But this other guy could go out here and do all these different things, and women will take them back. I have been in situations where I had somebody that I was dating and would just love to go up into the club, right? And then wanted to go up into the club with all of their single girlfriends, which is not a big deal, but their single girlfriends were always scouting and hunting for dudes. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't like that. Had a chick break up with me because of that. And the reason why she broke up with me was because I actually showed up at the club, not knowing that she was there because she had told me she was going to be out of town. I showed up at the club and walked right into her and her friends. And she broke up with me right then and there. Why? Because she wanted to do something scandalous, more than likely. And she later dates a guy, because we have mutual friends. She later dates a guy who really and truly was in and out of trouble all the time. Didn't hold down a job, none of that stuff, and took her money. Like, she had money laying around the house, took her money. Had access to her. I didn't even know what her apartment looked like. This dude had access to her apartment and everything. And yet she stayed with the guy. I know another instance where, this is early on in life. And this particular chick, I don't even know why we broke up. I think because I was just tired of her nonsense. But she dated a guy, she had dated him before. He did horrible things. He was very abusive. He even she had a small kitten and he threw it up against the wall and killed it because he was angry at her. He did all this stuff. They break up. Years later, her and I get together. It doesn't work out. And she then starts talking to this guy again. Now, she may have been talking to him while we were together, but she starts talking to this guy again. He comes down because he lived in a different city. He comes down and lives in the apartment with her. And in that short month, not only did he drain, because she was getting money from her grandparents to pay for the rent there, because she had a hard time keeping a job. I mean, we were like 20. So in that 1 month time, he drained her entire bank account using her debit card. Took her car, would drive all over the place, run out all the gas. And one time she asked me to help. Now, I didn't know that she was with the guy, but she asked me if I could help take her someplace so that she can, pick up money from because her grandparents were going to wire money to her. And she wanted to know if I could go and take her to someplace. Later on, I find out that that's true. She did go and do that, but she needed the money because he had drained everything out of her account. She had no money for gas. And that's why she needed help. And he ends up basically leaving her. And mind you, this guy had been in jail and everything else, prison. But she still stayed with him. And there have been other women that I have dated that were great, outstanding people. And still, a guy could do whatever he wanted, cheated, and they'd still try to get him back. Why? Don't know. Women and men are very, very different in many, many, many aspects. And I don't know everything about your circumstance or your particular case, but I think that some women like the idea of being able to possibly change a guy. Oh, he used to be that way, and then I got with him and made him this way. And I think that whole savior complex for some is there, that I can nurture him to a better place. Or, I know that deep down he's a good guy. I just have to dig for it. But the good guy that does present himself, that you don't have to do any work for, has to work extra hard to get the attention of the person. I mean, and that is, I could say probably in every relationship with the exception of one, every relationship I've ever been in, I've had to try extra hard because the women I've dated, and probably you've dated too, have had some sort of baggage from a prior relationship or prior relationships, because somebody did them dirty, and then they expect that that's going to be the case with you. So you have to try extra hard, even though you present your best foot forward. So it's annoying, right? Because to some degree, you're allowing a person to do these things to you, and you continue to keep coming back. Like it's kind of like a dog that gets hit. The dog keeps coming back. There's a loyalty to a fault there, of being loyal to a man that's not loyal to you, and loyal to a guy that's not going to be about nothing. I never understood that, because for me, once I saw a woman did stuff that didn't make sense to me, you know about the 3-strike rule. If you don't, there's videos I talk about the 3-strike rule. But after going through all the crap I did, I developed the 3-strike rule. And so at that point, I never wanted to deal with someone that wasn't really worth my time. You know what I mean? Like there are certain aspects that I'm like, okay, had I really and truly looked back at all the telltale signs, I wouldn't have went through all the headache. But now, does that mean all women will reject a good guy? No. I do think that there are more women who will go for a good looking guy that's got bad character than an average looking guy that has a great character. I do think that that is very much the case. Very much the case. I also think that if there's a guy who really and truly doesn't present a lot of good, but is a good talker, that people will go along, women will go along with that more so. I'm not someone that's a good talker like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not someone that, a lot of times back in the day in the clubs, I never went up to anybody. And I never went up to a woman and just started, shooting some of these lines and pickup line. I couldn't even tell you a good pickup line. You know what I mean? Like, I just never did that. I was never a smooth talker, still not. So it's like, there are some people that have that, some people that don't. And I think that, there are some women who make fun of the guys who come up with these pickup lines, but at the same time, there's a lot of women that fall for these pickup lines later. And you have some dudes that are master manipulators. They are good at what they do. And so they are able to convince a person. And sometimes people are just so swept away by things that they don't see the reality. You know what I mean? They don't see the reality. I also think too, because women talk about guys are very visual and they want a woman that looks like this. Women are very visual too. You see a lot of women that only go for a certain type of guy. He's got to look a certain type of way. Got to be a certain type of height. Got to be this. Got to be that. And the reality is that those guys are the same ones that most women go for. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but Idris Elba, George Clooney. Those are the people that most women are falling all over themselves for. But if you look like that, you're going to have, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. You're going to have several options. So why not go ahead and just be a jerk? And that's what happens. That's what happens. There came a point where I said, I don't want to date someone who's ultra, ultra pretty, because they know they're ultra pretty and they know that they're going to be able to get any guy they want pretty easily. So if they treated you dirty, they'll move right on quickly. Because, there's nothing to stop them from knowing that. So I stopped dating people based on just outward appearances only. And really and truly want to understand what they were about. What was important about their future. And, you were talking about you're going to school. And apparently that didn't matter to this person that you were dating. They didn't care. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it takes some growing up to do. Unless some people, that it depends on your priorities. But for me, my priority was, I want to be able to find someone that makes good sense, that, I can be proud of showing to my mom and my family, and that I can have a family with, that type of thing, as opposed to someone that looks like a runway model, because that carries its own set of baggage. I'm not bragging. I dated some models back in the day, and trust me, there was a whole lot of baggage. A lot of baggage. So, to me, I think that, yes, you do have a point. I think that some women do give the bad guy more of a more leeway. I don't think that's all women, by no means. I think that the younger the woman, the more likely that's going to be the case. I think that as women get older, the less likely they're going to deal with that type of thing. That just comes from age and experience. But you'd be surprised. There are some that are my age and they still put up with that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Making bad choice. I don't know. But to answer your question, yeah, I think if you're a good guy, you have a much harder chance, a much harder road to be taken seriously and be respected than someone who's a player. I don't know. You tell me what you guys think. I could be completely wrong and I could be completely biased. But just based on experience, I kind of agree with you. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.